Pirates and manga spin-offs pretty much ruled the top 10 in Japan this week. Hello everybody, and welcome to the weekly countdown of the top 10 best-selling light novels in Japan. This covering June 4th to 10th of 2018. Like I said, this week we could call sort of the manga top 10 almost, because there's quite a few titles on here that are light novel spin-offs of manga series. Well, let's just get into the list. At number 10, with 6,933 copies sold, Hataraku Maou-sama, SP. Of course, The Devil is a Part-Timer, SP. This is a side story of The Devil is a Part-Timer series. This story is set between volumes 5 and 6. Now, we do have this series in English, at least the main series, The Devil is a Part-Timer. We have that series in English from Yen on. They have released up to volume 10 at this point. Of course, there's also an anime, which you can stream on Crunchyroll or Netflix. That one only covered the first 2 volumes. And if you recently listened to the Light Novel podcast, we actually recently talked about The Devil is a Part-Timer on that podcast, because it's actually a really good series. This one, the main series, after being soundly thrashed by the hero Emilia, the Devil King and his general beat a hasty retreat to a parallel universe, only to land plop in the middle of bustling modern-day Tokyo. Lacking the magic necessary to return home, the two are forced to assume human identities and live average human lives until they can find a better solution. And to make ends meet, Satan finds gainful employment at a nearby fast food joint. With his devilish mind set on working his way up the management food chain, what will become of his thirst for conquest? Now, in terms of this side story, it looks like it's basically the characters pack up and go to help Chiho on a farm that she's working on. Again, there's not really a whole lot on this because I guess it's brand new, so I had to try and depend on Google Translate, and it was predictably awful. At number 9, with 6,959 copies sold, Volume 17 of Netoge no Yome wa Onnanoko janai to Omotta. And you thought there is never a girl online. We do not have this series in English, although there was a 12-episode anime which aired in spring of 2016. After mustering up the courage to propose to a girl in an online game, naive otaku Hideki Rushin Nishimura is devastated when she flat-out rejects him. To make matters worse, the girl reveals that she is actually an older man in real life. With his dreams crushed and his heart broken, Rushin comes to an abrupt decision in the midst of his raging fit. He will never trust another girl in an online game again. Years later, Rushin is now in a guild with 3 other players, one of whom possesses a female avatar by the name of Ako. Ako is deeply in love with Rushin and wants to marry him. Although he entertains the possibility that she might be a guy, Rushin accepts her proposal, claiming that her gender doesn't matter as long as she is cute in the game. However, after a discussion between guild members that led to all of them having an offline meeting, Rushin finds out that Ako, along with the other members, are not just girls, but also his classmates. So this one, again, we do not have an English license for. I kind of wonder if we might get one, though. Again, this is something that we've been talking about with other titles like Gamers and stuff like that, that we really need sort of, I think, that slice of life with a heavy gaming emphasis brought over into the English market. I think that could be a really good sell. Actually, I just finished reading Strongest Gamer. I just did a review on that one. And again, like, even though it is much more of like an isekai, the fact that it has a main character who's applying gamer thought and gamer lessons to the situation he finds himself in, I found really interesting and fun, and I would love to see that sort of applied in more of a real world setting, sort of combining that whole slice of life gamer culture and everything else. Maybe we'll get this one. I think we're a lot more likely to get gamers, but, well, you never know. At number 8, with 7,166 copies sold, volume number 8 of Youkoso Jitsuryoku Shijou Shugi no Kyoushitsu, Classroom of the Elite. This one, of course, number 1 last week on the list. It is not licensed in English, the light novel series. The anime we did have, actually, it streamed, I believe, on Crunchyroll. I do know it was released in English. This is one of those series that I really, really think we might see this year get licensed. I don't know. We'll see, though. It's one of those ones that I know a lot of people thought for sure before last year was over that we'd hear about a license for it, because when the anime was out, this book series did phenomenal business, taking up half of the top 10 all on its own, basically. And then, well, pretty much every new volume since then has always hit number 1 whenever it's released. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a series we see at some point. At number 7, with 8,722 copies sold, this is the first of our manga spin-off series, and that is novel A1 of One Piece. Yes, the novel that hung out on the top 10 for quite some time, actually, just a couple weeks ago, has returned into the top 10. This one is an official novel, was written in 3 issues of the One Piece magazine, chronicling the life of Portgas D. Ace after he starts his voyage, but before he encounters Whitebeard. This collected volume was advertised as having additional material above the original 3-part release. We do have the manga, which this is based on, released in English by Viz, and of course, if you feel like watching like 800 episodes of anime, there's an anime of One Piece as well. At number 6, with 8,835 copies sold, yet again, another manga spin-off light novel, and that is Naruto Sasuke Shinden, Shitei no Hoshi. This is the second of the Naruto Shinden series that are, I believe it's celebrating sort of an anniversary. It's the second installment of the Naruto Shinden series. It takes place sometime after the Versus Momoshiki arc, if you're familiar with Boruto. Sasuke has begun training with Boruto and Team 7. During that time, a popular idol of the Land of Fire, Lily, requested protection from Boruto and his friends for a live performance, but there's a massive plot that has been put into motion behind their backs. With the new village as center stage, questions such as what is master and what is student draws the curtains back on a new generation of ninja battles. At number 5, with 9,552 copies sold, would you believe it's another manga spin-off? And this is The Return of Gintama Class 3Z. This is the 7th book in this series. Now, this we do have, it's kind of weird. So we have the anime of Gintama, and that you can stream on Crunchyroll. Viz did license the Gintama and manga, but they've only put out 23 volumes, and it looks like the 23rd volume they put out a couple of years ago, even though I believe there's over 70 volumes of the manga in Japan. So I'm not too sure what happened with that license exactly. If you have any insight, feel free to leave that in the comments down below. I admit I never got into Gintama, so I didn't really follow that. In terms of these light novels, this one, it's parodying the television drama Class 3B Kenpachi Sensei. The Gintama version takes place in Gintama High School and introduces Gintoki as a language teacher for a class that consists of most of the cast, including the remaining Yorozuya, the 4 Shinsengumi, and even the Kiheitai, with Prince Hata at the helm as the principal. Characters like Matsudaira Otose, Genkai, Zenzo, Tsukuyo and Sakamoto have assumed the roles of the other teachers in the school. Now, for this, if you're not familiar with Gintama, it is, the main series, the Amanto aliens from outer space have invaded Earth and taken over feudal Japan. As a result, a prohibition on swords has been established, and the samurai of Japan are treated with disregard as a consequence. However, one man, Gintoki Sakata, still possesses the heart of the samurai, although from his love of sweets and work as a yorozuya, one might not expect it. Accompanying him in his jack-of-all-trades line of work are Shinpachi Shimura, a boy with glasses and a strong heart, Kagura, with her umbrella and seemingly bottomless stomach, as well as Sadabaru, their oversized pet dog. Of course, these odd jobs are not always simple, as they frequently have run-ins with the police, ragtag rebels, and assassins, oftentimes leading to humorous but unfortunate consequences. So again, I'm not too sure that we'd ever get these light novels in English. And I was looking on Amazon.co.jp, and it looks like it's been quite a number of years since there was a new release of these books. So I'm not too sure how that all works. I mean, really, again, it's one of those downfalls of not being able to read the actual, source language. But yeah. In any case, it is a Gintama spin-off. That much I can tell you for sure. At number 4, with 16,136 copies sold, another manga spin-off light novel. However, this one was on the list last week, and that is The Promised Neverland, A Letter from Norman. So, of course, again, we do have this manga being released in English. It is officially licensed. It sounds like this is sort of a one-shot light novel, but I do believe it's set kind of after the manga or after some big events in the manga. So I know last week I didn't read the sort of little blurb about what this was about because I didn't want to spoil anything. If you're reading the manga, I did hear from quite a few of you that the manga is really awesome, and I have seen some very positive reviews online. If I ever find myself with time to read manga, maybe I'll pick it up. At number 3, with 17,509 copies sold, Volume 7 of Sword Art Online Alternative, Gale Online. So, of course, this is the spin-off of the Sword Art Online series, not written by Reki Kawahara. This is actually written by Keiichi Sigsawa, who's the author of Kino's Journey. A brand new battlefield awaits. Karen Koburui Maki is a college student who stands at an imposing 6 feet. While her complex about her height makes it hard for her to make friends in the real world, the VR MMO Gale Online changes everything. Now, equipped with her ideal mini avatar and clad in a pink battlesuit, Karen is ready to shoot up the world of GGO as Len. Before long, she meets the beautiful Pitoui, and the 2 rare female players become fast friends. Little does Len know that this friendship is the key to her entry in the first ever Squad Jam, a team-based battle royale that echoes the famous Bullet of Bullets tournament. Now, of course, there is currently an anime it'll probably be just finishing up soon, because we're coming up to sort of the summer season, but so that'll be finishing up pretty soon. We have seen Volume 1 of Gale Online actually show up in the top 10 a couple times while the anime's been running. This is the latest volume. It looks like these are coming out about one a year. So just kind of based on the last 3 or 4 of them that I could see. So I think it's just, it makes sense, right? You've got a light novel author who's doing his own series that he's created. I couldn't see him doing a ton of work on a spin-off that's a spin-off of somebody else's creation, so I guess it makes sense that he's only putting out like one a year or so. At number 2, with 17,604 copies sold, volume number 20 of Towaru Majutsu no Index, New Testament. A Certain Magical Index, New Testament. This is the sequel series to A Certain Magical Index. I will not read you a synopsis because, oh boy, does even just the general synopsis of this series kind of spoil a whole bunch of stuff that apparently happens in the later volumes of a certain magical index. Now, a certain magical index we do have licensed in English. The most recent volume of that was volume number 15, and it's licensed by Yen On. They just released that volume in May. Now, there is going to be a third anime season of a certain magical index. I believe October is when it's set to premiere. I would be pretty much willing to put money on us getting this series, New Testament, but not until the current series is done. Because I don't know if all of you are aware, but most licensing agreements have a term of a number of years, 5 to 10 years. I believe Sam at J Novel Club said it seems to be the average. So a company's typically not going to license something unless they know that they're going to be able to put it out within a reasonable amount of time. So seeing as how Yen still has a little while to go before they completely finish a certain magical index, I don't think that they're going to put the money out for the license of New Testament until they're done. Plus, even if they had licensed it, I don't see them announcing it until its release is imminent, which again, it's not going to happen until after certain magical's done. And I mean, it's a really good shot too, because we did just see this done with Spice and Wolf, that Yen On picked up the sequel to Spice and Wolf for that, which was a series that they had put out previously too. So rest assured, if you're a big Index fan, I like I said, I'd be pretty much willing to put money on the fact that this one gets licensed eventually. Finally, at number 1, with 29,215 copies sold, it's a manga spin-off. It's One Piece. It's A2. This one, of course, hit the list last week, but I guess it was like the very end of the week that it was covering, because, man, it motored up to number 1 pretty quick with a whole bunch of sales. This one, of course, it's continuing Portgas d'Ace's voyages. This one, it focuses on his voyages in the New World. So I, again, don't really know anything about One Piece. I'm sure this is significant to those of you who are familiar with the series and enjoy it. And this week, I'd like to say a very special thank you to Ki Duong Gayen, Yuki Ali, Mitchell Von Regen, Bob Thompson, and Ola OJ the Bull for their support on Patreon, as well as all the support of my other patrons. Just this week, I premiered the mascot for the channel, Shiori. Feel free to check out that video. Satria, who did the artwork for Shiori, I think did a fantastic job. And all of that kind of got rolling and moving because of the creation of my Patreon. So thank you so much to everybody there. And of course, the Light Novel Podcast exists because of that as well. And I hope everybody's enjoying that. Looks like a lot of you are, based on your comments, which I really appreciate. And we're just going to keep it rolling. We're talking about a whole bunch of cool stuff to do down the line. I think our next episode, we were going to do Infinite Dendrogram, but I think instead we're going to talk about books that we want to see licensed and books we think that will get licensed in anticipation of the fact that Anime Expo is happening next weekend, and we expect to hear a lot of licenses come out at that time. So those are your top 10 best-selling light novels in Japan for June 4th to the 10th of 2018. Like I said, it's kind of like almost a manga list this week, honestly. But, you know, I guess it's all right. Hopefully next week there will be more there for just us pure light novel fans to sort of sink our teeth into and see what's popular. So if you're brand new to the channel and you love light novels, you should consider subscribing. I do this countdown every week, as well as doing weekly reviews of 2 to 3 volumes of light novels as well. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye for now.